Damon Bruce here, and welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports, a Friday night NBA presentation. It's the Utah Jazz going up against the Chicago Bulls. And the tip-off is just around the corner. Let's get you out to the Madhouse on Madison. Here's Kevin Harlan in Chicago.
And the Bulls go through their pregame routine. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA on 2K Sports. With Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. Doris Burke will be along, too, from the sideline. The starting fives for our game. Here are tonight's starting lineups. And as we take a look here at Derrick Rose, guys, what's your take?
He's very savvy in traffic. When he gets inside, has a kind of an uncanny way of shielding himself from contact and finding a way to finish at the rim.
Steve, it has to be said here that he operates the pick and roll to perfection. I mean, he delights in running unwitting defenders or blindside picking guys so that he can end up rolling into a basket.
Looking at Chicago, they took the win in their last game against the Pacers in Indiana.
And you know what was most impressive? They wasted very few possessions in that game. They ran their offense close to perfection.
That's what we call a mute button game in front of a hostile crowd. They never let the fans get into it, had them on their hands the whole time.
Boozer can't get it to go.
Well, you know, Carlos Boozer wasn't as efficient last season as we've seen in the past, and I think in large part it was due to the extended absence of Derrick Rose. He was the bailout option for the team on many occasions.
That's good. Burke's got the first 3 points of the night up on the board for the Jazz.
The defense sagged off, and you know he did not hesitate to rise up and bury that three.
Rose kicks to Dang, and it's going to be out of bounds. The Jazz will take it. And Clark, for Boozer, you talked about his offensive efficiency. Strong, physical player, but he only averaged about, Steve, I think like 3 free throws a game last season.
Well, he's a fadeaway jump shooter. He's an excellent offensive player, pretty efficient in his scoring. But most of his post-ups end up in fadeaway jump shots, and that's why he doesn't get to the line very often.
Burke kicks to Cantor. Lots of room. No good off the back of the rim.
Well, there was no hand in his face right there. I thought for sure he was going to knock that down.
Pass to Dang. He feeds it to Noah. Shot clock at 6. Let's go. No good. And it's Utah the other way. They couldn't put the pieces together, losing that last matchup with Boston.
Yeah, they gave away a lot of points at the free throw line in that game. Maybe it was being on the road. Maybe they were just out of sync, but something had them rattled.
Steve, I don't know if it was the biggest reason for that loss, but clearly the misses from the stripes had an impact. Tell you what, it's hard to argue with the record for Coach Tom Thibodeau of the Bulls, but the rumor mill has it that the front office hasn't been happy with how hard he's ridden his top players. Luol Deng missed time last season with the hamstring injury. Joakim Noah came down with plantar fasciitis. Hey, those things happen, and I'm not quite sure you can put that at the feet of Tom Thibodeau.
Now here's Rose. He picked up 33 points in their last one against Indiana. Boozer passes to Rose. Buries it from three-point range. Rose has got his first 3 points of the game.
You know, even though he doesn't really have the long-range ability on a consistent level, he can knock down some open ones.
And going back to Tom Thibodeau and that minutes load on his stars, it seems it's getting harder for players to weather big minutes, Steve, these days.
I think it's going to be really interesting going forward to see this Bulls team this year and beyond. Will that wear them down? Their guys play too many minutes. They've had a lot of injuries. I think it's time to scale back a little bit on the minutes played.
And that one's good. Burke. First quarter of play. We're about 3 minutes in. Now here's Rose. He's got 5. Butler dishes to Rose. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line.
And watch how many times he initiates the pick and roll, Kevin, and how good he is at running it as the cutter. He's duped a lot of defenders with that play.
And what I love about watching him play, Steve, is his terrific agility and body control. Even with the multiple defenders closing in, he contorts his body at angles that really give him a chance to make shots from weird positions all the time. Boy, I tell you, the Bulls showed how resilient they could be without Derrick Rose last season. They played competitive basketball, but up against the Western Conference, They just didn't quite have the same punch. Got beat up pretty good out west.
Andres Biedrins is checked in for Utah. Williams comes in for Derek Favors. And he makes both free throws. And back to the Bulls against the West. Not sure what exactly their shortcomings were, but in the end, Steve, they were only able to win 11 games out of the 30 they played out of conference.
You know, the Bulls were a team that could win games on grit and toughness, but the West was a lot more talented last year than the East. And so some nights Chicago just kind of ran into reality, and they didn't have enough talent to deal with some of those Western teams.
Here's Butler after the made shot from Hayward. Butler kicks to Gibson. Rose, defended by Burke. And there's Derrick Rose on the assist from Gibson. 9 points for Derrick Rose.
He's one of the best in the league at that. Even with just a tiny sliver, he always seems to find a way to get it up and in.
Hayward. And it's Chicago with the rebound. This their first chance this season playing the Jazz.
Last season they had a very easy time with this club. And of course, being East versus West, they only got to face them twice, but I'm sure they wish they had them on the schedule more often.
Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give them 2 chances at the free throw line here. Steve was talking before we got into that little segment there about playing them more, and it was 2 games last year, 2 wins. It's probably a safe assumption they've got a lot of confidence heading into this first meeting, Clark, this year.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, they appear to be at opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of talent, but nothing's ever a sure thing, Kevin. That's why we play the games.
I like that. Good. Here's what Utah's going with right now. Gobert, he's checked in for Biedrins. And John Lucas is subbed in for Burke. Now the free throw is good. Now leading by 1.
You know, Utah usually matches up well with Eastern Conference teams because style of play is similar. Both Eastern Conference and the Jazz like to play a grinded-out physical game, and Utah has the big and the defensive mentality to thrive in a slower-paced game, and that's why they went 17-13 against the Eastern Conference.
Marcus Teague, he's checked in for Derrick Rose. 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Here's Muhammad. Feeds it to Heinrich. That's good. Lucas with it. This is to Hayward. Got it up. And it would have counted had it fallen, but it's offline. And so the first quarter is in the books. It's Chicago leading by 4. From the United Center in Chicago. Back in a moment.
Season blasts off. Michael Conley and the Memphis Grizzlies go up against Paul George and the Indiana Pacers next Monday, 7 o'clock Central.
Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from the Bulls?
And I thought the key in that first quarter was the offensive aggressiveness. They attacked the rim and got to the foul line.
And I sense they're really feeling good about playing at home, taking advantage of the home court. Kind of a little interesting factoid here for Gordon Hayward. If you look at his three-point percentage, he's shot great in seasons that end in odd numbers and poorly in the even-numbered years. That goes all the way back to his days at Butler.
So on the floor for Utah, John Lucas out there with Rush. Then it's Hayward. Then it's Jeremy Evans. And it's Gobert in at the center position.
And their lead takes another little bump up.
Boy, I tell you, they've got to be feeling better and better about this game.
Jazz trail by 7. And Clark, as I look at the stat sheet, you're exactly right. For Hayward in 2013, 2011, and 2009, he shot over 40% from 3, but in 2010, he shot 29%. In 2012, just 35% from long range.
Is that what you do, like when you're at home and you have some free time? You look at odd numbered years versus even numbered years on three-point percentage?
Yes.
Yeah, that must be
I'm
fun.
all over.
Gosh.
Yeah, right. And he makes the first.
People have talked about the defensive renaissance in Chicago as a big part of their turnaround, and that's accurate. Thibs has done wonders for this team defensively, but another aspect is that they've had one of the deepest benches in the league the past few years, too.
And the Jazz making a change here. Williams is checked in. Both free throws good from Lucas. Going back to what you said, Clark, about Chicago, it is a credit to them that they've been able to constantly add or draft talent that is ready to step in for him, and Steve contribute off the bench.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You think about Taj Gibson, a late first-round pick. Jimmy Butler last year really emerged as one of the best young players in the league. Great story. So terrific job by the Bulls front office in figuring out which player to take later in the first round.
Williams from outside. That one goes. Count it. And now approaching 2 minutes of action here in the second quarter. Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Gentlemen, last season it seemed there was a little back and forth between head coach Tom Thibodeau and the Bulls front office regarding the big minutes he gave his starters. Thibodeau said, quote, "It's never the right amount of minutes. That's the only thing I know. If a guy's not playing big minutes, it's not enough minutes. Then if a guy's playing big minutes, it's too many minutes. So you play to win. That's the whole thing. And when you're a young team, guys can handle minutes. But guys, both Dang and Noah missed significant time. Noah only playing 66 games in the regular season. Dang out through the last 7 games of the playoffs. You wonder if maybe they have a point."
They've worked to round out the roster, boys. That should help those minutes stay down. And it's Evans missing.
You know, his finishing ability leaves a lot to be desired, guys. He needs to take it to the basket stronger.
Heinrich kicks to Murphy. Good, and Heinrich gets the assist. Murphy's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. And the first time out of the game called for Utah.
You know, you look at the flex offense that Utah utilizes, and it requires that players, one, be versatile and multi-skilled, but also that they have good basketball IQs. You need to be able to screen and read defenses effectively. And that's not easy, but it's certainly a good way to play if you've got the right people.
Here's what Utah's going with right now. Enes Kanter comes in for Jeremy Evans, and it's Jefferson in for Gordon Hayward. Jazz trail by 5. And Clark, back to that flex offense you were talking about. Some players come into the league with the bad habit of standing around when they don't have the ball. Steve, that's not going to cut it from the flex.
No, it keeps you moving. It keeps the ball going. A lot of screening and cutting. It's a great offense, and it's difficult to cover. But I like what you said. It teaches the young players how to play as well.
That's good.
Well, he doesn't waste too many of those chances close to the basket.
Jazz have gotten only one of their first 4 shots in the second quarter to drop. Burke, the pass to Williams. The feed now to Jefferson. The three-pointer, no good. The Bulls leading by 7. Teague with the ball, and Burks picks him up defensively. Teague kicks to Boozer. And Kanter pulls it down.
Well, the latest weight loss story for a big man is Enes Kanter. After his rookie season, he decided it would be best to slim down and add some speed to his game. And the word is he shed almost 50 pounds before the start of last year.
Jefferson's shot is off. Bulls have gone 3 of 7 shooting the ball here in the second quarter. Snell defended by Jefferson. Back to Heinrich. Passes it to Teague. Some nice ball movement by the Bulls. Just 5 on the clock. 16 feet away. And misses it off the right side of the rim. Jazz trail by 7. 17 seconds left now here in the second. Burke dishes to Kanter. And he goes in for the dunk. I like that they're taking it inside and taking advantage of each opportunity, Clark, to chip away at the deficit.
Yeah, and doing it with the dunk is a major energizer, too. Gets the momentum going.
Yeah, and I think the interior defense, as good a job offensively as the defensive presence is almost non-existent. And they may see this league disappear if they continue to give up those easy points.
Second quarter ends in a tight one. Bulls lead by 5. We'll see you after halftime for the beginning of the third quarter.
Now, presented by Sprint.
With a few games of the new season already under our belt, we're back in the NBA groove. This This is 2K Sports. Chicago with the lead against Utah. Playing a team they know that they can beat, but will they? We still got a game. Derrick Rose has it stuck on automatic following his performance against the Pacers. At the break, 11 points, and his field goal percentage has been great. A lot of high-quality looks. And still hanging in there, the Utah Jazz. Second chance points, a major key so far. They've been the first to the ball whenever there's a missed shot. Trey Burke giving them a nice boost. And Enes Kanter has also been getting it going for them. And now let's go around the NBA to check out what's happening. For the Suns at U.S. Airways Center, we find them trailing to Denver. Second half of basketball going on in a tight one. And another one also in progress. The Magic are in the lead at Amway Center against the Celtics. 6 points is the difference as they're up in the third. And now, here's what's going on in the rest of the NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers will be playing against the Pelicans out in New Orleans. It's going to be a tip-off at 7 Eastern, 10 Pacific. And back to the United Center we go. The third quarter just about to start.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And it's been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first half. Third quarter starting here now.
What a game for Rose. He's got 11 points, and he's managed to get 4 of his points by way of the free throw line.
And that may not be the first thing people notice about his performance, but those are important points nonetheless.
While we've got a moment, let's set the floor. Brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up for the second half. So for Chicago right now, on the wings, Butler and Dang. Up front, Boozer and Noah. And it's Rose in at the point.
You know, as the Bulls have been one of the tougher teams the last few seasons, they've done it through dominating the glass and tough defense. Had some injuries to deal with last year, but at the core, this is a defensive-minded team. That's why they're always competitive.
So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. And the Bulls in the top 5 in offensive rebound rate last season.
Yeah, for a team that struggled to produce points with Derrick Rose out the entire season, those extra possessions are just so valuable. And it's no surprise, really. I mean, the way this team hits the boards, Tom Thibodeau always getting peak effort out of his guys.
The free throw drops for Rose.
Well, really a promising young roster for the Utah Jazz team, guys. A lot of blue-chip talent there. I think in a couple of years, this team has a chance to be one of the best in the West.
Second free throw, no good. And you got to give this Utah front office a lot of credit. You're right, Clark. They've only missed the playoffs 5 times in the last 30 seasons. Steve, that is a remarkable run.
What I like about Utah, too, Kevin, is that they seem to stay ahead of the curve. They make moves while they still have leverage. Dealing Carlos Boozer, Kirilenko, Deron Williams. So they've done a good job of getting value, getting assets, and continuing to look ahead.
Now let's send it to Doris on the sideline.
Well, gentlemen, there has been a lot of pressure on this Bulls team to get to the finals. Derrick Rose thinks that they are set up to win multiple championships. He says, quote, "To me, to win a championship, you need a team full of winners that's willing to sacrifice. We got all the pieces, starting with the front office, our owners, the coaching staff, down to the players." That kind of quote puts more pressure on the team, but they are set to make a deep run, guys.
Defense really their identity. That's how they win. First minute and a half of basketball here in the third quarter. Now Burks. He has 5. Favors passes to Burke. And it's Chicago with the rebound. Rose has got his 3rd rebound tonight.
You know, with Derrick Rose out, a lot of people thought the Bulls would flounder last season, guys, but they were still one of the tougher teams in all of the East, in part because the culture of toughness and next man up has been instilled in that group from its coaching staff, starting with Tom Thibodeau. I don't think this takes away anything from how great Rose is, but I think it certainly speaks to how bought in and committed to the team that every man on that roster is.
Now the pass to Noah. Yes, and it's Rose with the assist that time. Rose has got 3 assists now in this one. Now here's Burke, who's covered by Rose. Burke kicks to Jefferson. Burke. That one a little long. Well, back in the Chicago Bulls team, you got to give a lot of credit to the culture of defense and effort that Coach Tom Thibodeau has created there, Steve.
Well, they weathered Rose's absence remarkably well. Advancing in the playoffs, giving Miami all it could handle. And you wonder, with the healthy Rose now and all these other players having developed, is Chicago a championship caliber team? I think they are.
I agree.
You got to give them a lot of credit for the job they've done on the backboard.
Well, they've done a lot of things right, but I agree with you, Clark. The rebounding is right there at the top of the list.
And the Jazz with some changes. Biedrins comes in for Enes Kanter. And it's Gobert in for Derek Favors. A little under 2.5 minutes off the clock now here in the third. Here's Rose. Lays it up and banks it in. Rose has got 14.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They keep getting in the paint and keep scoring points. Keep it going.
Yeah, not a lot you can do defensively when they continue to get the ball inside and get these easy shots.
Here's Burke, and the bucket counts, and he's on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a three-point play.
Yeah, here's a guy who gives the coach the luxury of a very simple play call, which is just the ISO. Get him the ball and get out of the way, and good things are going to happen.
And that's not all there is to say about him, Steve. I mean, he also is a master of the pick and roll. Get the ball in his hands and set a screen for him, and there will be an easy bucket after it. Guys, there were a lot of questions about what went wrong for Utah last year as they saw themselves slip from a middle-of-the-pack playoff team to being on the outside looking in at the playoffs. One reason was their play on the road.
6 to shoot, and the shot counts. He's fouled, and it's a chance for a three-point play.
Boy, what a half from the field they're having. They're going to extend that lead if they stay this high.
Now they've taken it up another notch, Clark, looking very confident out there.
Free throw good, Muhammad. As you said with the Jazz last year, getting wins on the road a big problem for them, and they just couldn't keep up in that category. Well, Steve, with other teams vying for a playoff spot.
Yeah, they finished 13 and 28 on the road, and that was what kept them out of the postseason. They just have to improve in that regard this year if they're going to get into the playoffs.
Rose kicks to Butler. Dunleavy up top. Shoots. And the Bulls tack on 2 more.
They've had the hotter hand in the first half so far, no question.
Yeah, it's because of all the high percentage shots they've been working for and getting.
Burke dishes to Jefferson for the 3, and that one's good. And that's 13 points for Trey Burke. From midcourt, can't get it to go. And we've watched 3 so far in this one. Bulls out front, leading by 9. From the United Center in Chicago, back in a moment.
Next Monday night, November 11th, Kyrie Irving and the Cleveland Cavaliers take on Joakim Noah and the Chicago Bulls. Live from Chicago. Be there.
And we welcome you back to more NBA action. Players looking hydrated and plenty of Gatorade to help them get their job done tonight. The Bulls leading by 9, and so in the game for the Jazz. Favors plays the 4 with Kanter at the 5. Rush out there with Burke, and it's Hayward in at the 3. Now here's Burke. Tight defense on him. Off his leg. And the official saying it was kicked. Luol Deng is checked in for Chicago. Poked away. Kicks to Burke. Clock at 6. Cannot hit. So Bulls will take it the other way. They've held a 12-point lead earlier. Following this one, they get to host the Cavaliers. And that game is the second of 2 straight home. And it's Gibson finishing it off.
Phenomenal alley-oop slam right there, guys.
They're taking advantage, Clark, of a team that looks lost out there.
Yeah, this is threatening to get kind of ugly out here.
Now, here's Burke, who's covered by Rose. Rose with the double team. For 3, Hayward gets it to go.
D there, guys, was pretty much non-existent. I mean, you can't leave a good shooter like that open.
Chicago leading by 8. Butler kicks to Rose. Dang passes to Gibson. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Hey, people had no idea, guys, how the Bulls were going to do last season dealing with the Rose injury, but they showed very quickly that they're going to be a team in the hunt, and they were still going to be hard to beat at home.
That's good from Gibson. And back to the Bulls at the United Center that Clark was just mentioning. 24-17 here in this building a year ago. And even though, Steve, they didn't have a lot of high-flying highlights here, they knew how to close out games.
Well, they defend, and that's the main thing. If you want to finish and close out games, you have to be able to defend and rebound. And that's what Tom Thibodeau's teams are always all about. And this year is no exception.
Utah calls timeout.
Yeah, he's seen enough of this interior scoring that his defense is giving up. So the message during this timeout is you got to lock things up inside.
You know, sometimes a group can just get spaced out on defense. They're not connected and playing 5 as 1. And usually a timeout can help you refocus and recalibrate that defense.
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Hey, guys. Well, Tyrone Corbin had some advice for the team in that last huddle. He told them, guys, we're getting bogged down in the half court. Let's get out and run, see what's available in early offense. If there's nothing there, we can always back it out and run our sets. Good advice, Kevin.
And that one's good.
Defensively, they're really scattered right now, giving up so many open looks from the three-point line.
Yeah, they are splashing them. Their last 3 buckets have all come from behind the arc.
Rejected by Rush. And here we go. Fast break. Burke's got it. Here's Jefferson. We're about 2 minutes into the 4th quarter in this one. Cantor dishes to Burke. He kicks it to Cantor. He passes to Burke. 4 on the clock. Pulls up on the elbow. Buries the jump shot.
Well, they found the touch here in the second half from the field, and everything else we talk about, folks, rebounding, defense, all of that, this game is still about making shots. You got to put the ball in the basket. That's the bottom line, and they found a way to do it here in the second half.
And Gibson kicks to Rose. Double team on Rose. Here's Butler. Here's Noah. The basket drops, and he gets fouled on the shot. 1 free throw coming his way.
These defenders look overmatched right now, especially inside.
Yeah, you look at the numbers, 10 of the last 12 points have come from close range, so I agree.
And a look at how the offensive approach has been going here so far for Chicago.
Man, they keep piling up the assists, guys. Great ball movement.
They've also been pounding it inside tonight and coming away with a lot of points in the paint. I call those PIPs.
Jazz trail by 8. Here's Burke. And he draws body contact. Looked like a blocking foul, and he was in the shooting motion. So he'll head to the free throw line.
Just an amazing game for Burke. 15 points, and he's hit the mark twice from 3-point range as well.
Well, it's no secret. I mean, the more points he can come up with from out there, the better off they'll be offensively with their spacing.
That free throw good from Burke. Both free throws good from Burke.
Some good work at the line there to chip away at the lead. A few more productive trips, and things can really turn around in this game.
The dish to Dang. Back to Butler. Pass to Noah. Outside Dang. Here's the three. Rebound, Utah. Burks got 3 rebounds so far in the game. Left side, Jefferson. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
Easy call there.
No question about that one. You could hear the impact from where I am.
This free throw is good, and that brings them within 5.
Some great free throw shooting so far in this second half.
I think they should keep trying to initiate contact and get back to the line until they start missing from there. But as it is, they're perfect so far, so keep it up.
Alec Burks checked in for Brandon Rush. And good on the second, so he makes them both. Chicago calls timeout. They're in front by 4. 1:37 left in the game. Here's Rose. Outside Butler. He dishes it to Boozer. Butler kicks to Rose. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful.
The soft finger roll is just one of the many finishing moves he has in his bag of shot making.
Utah calls timeout. They're trailing by 6. 1:22 left in the 4th quarter. Quarter of play, and over 3.5 minutes have gone by. Burke, the pass to Cannon. Stolen by Noah. And here is Butler. Rose with the ball. Now defended by Burke. Rose double teamed. 5 to shoot. Cantor and wrestling for it there, but no one has possession. We'll have a jump ball. So it's Chicago now. Clock at 4, and it's Rose penetrating. It's Chicago with another bucket.
He's created some good opportunities for himself and made the most of them.
Utah's gone to 3-point range 7 times tonight, knocked down 5 of them. Jefferson dishes to Burke. Offline with his 3. Outside Rose. Boozer kicks to Rose. Shot, high post. They grab their own miss. Another shot, and Noah with a nice bucket inside. They got on this roll a while ago, and they just haven't looked back. Utah calls timeout. They're behind by 10. 23 seconds left here in the 4th quarter. Guys, what do you think?
Well, talk all they want, but I just don't see a way for them to get back into the game here.
You know what? I don't know if there's a 10-point play out there. And that being the case, this one is finished, over.
So Utah ends up going with the new group. Utah with the ball. Lucas kicks to Williams. The Jazz with another miss. Outside Teague. So Chicago takes this one, and by a big margin. They put on a show tonight, thoroughly controlling each end of the floor.
Hey, what more can you ask?
Well, it's time to say so long. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan, along with our 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. Now it's time to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Derrick Rose.